What if everything you think you know about early humans is incomplete? What if they didn't spend their days constantly hunting, struggling, or fighting for survival like movies suggest? What if large parts of their day were spent waiting, watching, resting, talking, or doing nothing at all? How much was work, and how much was simply being alive? Did they experience boredom the way we do, or was time felt differently when the sun, the wind, and hunger were the only clocks? And if you were suddenly dropped into their world, would you recognize a normal day at all, or would it feel unsettlingly quiet? Early humans did not wake up to alarms or schedules. Their mornings began with light slowly changing the skies, color and air brushing their skin. Consciousness was gradual, awareness returning with sounds of insects, distant birds, shifting leaves, and quiet movements of others nearby. Before any action, there was observation, scanning the environment, sensing safety, noticing weather, hunger, and energy levels. Action without awareness could mean death. Contrary to modern assumptions, much of early human life was not spent in constant motion, but in careful stillness, long pauses where nothing visible happened, yet everything important was being processed. The body deciding whether the day was a day to move far or stay close, whether the group needed food immediately or could wait, whether the weather would allow travel or demanded shelter. When movement did happen, it was purposeful but not frantic. Small groups preparing slowly, tools checked not because of urgency but habit, conversations unfolding through gestures, sounds, shared glances, the social fabric being reinforced before any hunt or gathering even began. When they did go out, it was not always for dramatic pursuits, but often for simple acts like checking familiar paths, revisiting known water sources, inspecting plants that had been watched for days or weeks to see if they were ready. These activities were interwoven with storytelling, teaching, quiet observation of children learning by imitation rather than instruction. After food was acquired, often sooner than people imagine, the day did not suddenly end nor become filled with labor, because for many early human groups, survival tasks occupied far less time than modern workdays, leaving large stretches of daylight for rest, social bonding, play, crafting, tool maintenance, body care, and deep attentiveness to the world around them. Sitting was not idleness, but vigilance. Lying down was not laziness, but recovery. The rhythm of the day followed energy rather than obligation, hunger rather than clocks. As the sun moved higher, conversations flowed, skills were refined slowly, stone-shaped, patiently, hides prepared carefully, all without the pressure of productivity. When the heat peaked, there was often retreat into shade, stillness again becoming dominant, because conserving energy was intelligence, not weakness. As afternoon softened the light, the group might move again, not far, not fast, but intentionally, checking boundaries, watching animal behavior, reading signs in the ground and sky that modern eyes no longer notice. Throughout all of this, what defined the day was not work, but awareness, an ongoing dialogue between body, group, and environment. As evening approached, food was shared, not consumed alone, reinforcing bonds, confirming belonging. Storytelling took center stage, not as entertainment alone, but as memory storage, survival knowledge encoded into narrative, myths forming not from fantasy but from patterns observed over generations. When darkness arrived, it was not filled with artificial light, but with fire, shadows dancing, silence becoming deeper, conversations slowing, bodies settling into rest, not from exhaustion, but completion. Sleep itself was lighter, segmented, interwoven with brief awakenings, where the world was checked again, because even rest was participatory. If this way of living sounds unfamiliar, it is because modern life has compressed awareness into schedules, replaced observation with urgency, and turned survival into abstraction, while early humans lived inside time rather than against it, experiencing days not as units to be filled, but as spaces to be inhabited. Perhaps the most unsettling truth is that they were not constantly struggling, not endlessly afraid, not always exhausted, but often calm, connected, and present. When we ask what early humans actually did all day, the answer is not found in dramatic moments, but in the quiet ones, the waiting, the watching, the listening, the being. Because survival was not only about action, but about knowing when not to act. And that knowledge shaped the human mind long before cities, jobs, and clocks ever existed.